Hello everyone, Barb here from barbaderholt.closetomyheart.com. Well, today we're going to do a little fancy packaging on this Ghirardelli Intense Dark Chocolate. I actually saw this from a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. She goes by Poodles. She's from the UK and she has done these many times in her videos. If I remember, I will try to put a link below to her videos. They're worth the watch. She does a lot of neat boxes and bags and things like that. But today we're going to zhuzh up our little candy bar. So I've got some Harbor ink, got a couple of circles. I just used a circle punch. This is 2 1/4. This one is 2 inches. I have a little thank you stamp, and this is oldie moldy. My goodness, I have had this bad boy for a long time, 10 plus years, and I still love it and use it. And I've got the candy bar. I do have this 3/4 inch punch. This is from Stampin' Up! I like these punches, and so I use them. I have some ribbon and some leftover pieces to do a little decorating, and some foam tape if I choose to do that. I will probably be using glue for the most part. So you don't measure so much with this. I have kind of pre-measured this size here, this 3 1/2 ounce candy bar. I found that 9 by 8 1/2 works well for what I'm doing. I'm going to set that to the side, and I do have my oldie moldy scoreboard here. So this is I've got it butted up here, and on this is the 9 inch side. I want to whiz it around here and put the 8 1/2 inch side up there. So this is what I'm doing here. I want about 1 inch at the bottom. I've got the 8 1/2 inch side here, butted up against the top of my scoreboard, and I'm going to the 7 1/2 inch mark, and I am going to make a score line. Just a couple of light passes. You don't want to go too heavy-handed. This is paper. It will tear. I think that's all I need for that. Get that put away. I'm going to give it a fold. This paper was from the Life's a Hoot collection, and it's a leftover, and this is a good project for using up those bigger leftover pieces. So I've got that at the bottom. And now I'm going to put my candy bar on here, and I'm just eyeball centering it. And we're going to fold this over. And at the bottom here, I'm going to give it a little crease. And I'm going to leave that in the same spot, fold over the other flap, and do the same thing. Just below that score line, I'm giving it a little crease. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to give it a little bit of an angle cut, and then we're going to chop away this end bit. We won't need that. Same on the other side, doing a little bit of an angle cut into the center section, and then using that score line as my cutting guide and cutting that bit away. This is what you're left with. It looks like this. And then we put our candy bar in, and again I'm doing a little bit of a dry fit. If it's not perfect, it's okay. This little flap is going to hide many an ill. Mostly I'm just worried about making sure that this is lined up at the top here where they overlap. Got plenty of room. I'm going to do some glue. You could do whatever adhesive you find works best for you. If you have a really good tape runner, that would work. I find that the glue is a little longer lasting on the sticking side, especially with paper. So I'm just rubbing it so that that glue makes contact with both sides of the paper and stays together. And then I'm going to run a bit of glue at the top of the flap here and fold it up. It's not perfect, but it's close. It's good enough. I think it'll be just fine. And again, just giving it a little bit of a rub so that that glue sticks to both sides of the paper. We're going to pull our candy bar out. because now we need to punch some holes, and this is why I like this style of a punch, because I can easily fit it into my pocket. And I'm eyeballing it, doesn't have to be perfect, and there's this little line on the punch, and it doesn't matter what kind of a line you have on your punch, you just want to find something that you can use as your reference each time. So there we go. This is a little tough because you're going through two pieces of paper. Flip it over, same thing, we're finding that line and lining it up with the top of the paper. Okay, there we go. So we've got our holes punched. Now we need to put some ribbon, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to fish the ribbon through the holes, pull a long tail out, and this is some retired ribbon from close to my heart, and I think it might even still be available. It's called Sangria. It's very pretty. That color was retired, so it was in the clearance section, and that's when I like to score on that kind of stuff. So all you're doing then with that ribbon through there, let's see if I go this way, you'll see when it pushes it down, it pushes that ribbon. And just hang on to it so you don't lose your tail down into your pocket. And you can continue to pull out and lengthen those as you need. And I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to use my big scissors. That's a big hunk of ribbon. Then you want to give it a little tie. There we go. And this is what it does. It's like magic. It's like magic. And you just tip it to get the candy bar out. And tip it back in to get the candy bar in. So then to decorate this on the front, that's where my little pieces of paper go. I'm going to grab a couple of sprigs and just going to run a little glue on them. And put them on the back, just like that. And I might throw this in. Oh, I've got this other little short guy here. He was a leftover. These are leftovers from another project. It's always fun to find ways to use that stuff up. And I'm just building a little bit of a little cluster so that sticks out there, and then I think I will, let's see what I can find here. Oh, I've got this guy, and he can go right in there, and that will be very pretty. There. And this can go on the back. A little bit of glue, tape runner, whatever you find works best for you. Whatever floats your boat. Put that on there. Then we want to do our stamping. I have my Harbor ink. I'm going to take a chance. I'm not using my foamy pad here, but I think this is a very well seasoned stamp. Yep, and that stamps beautifully every time. And then I'll put a little tape runner. Well, this is foam tape, so it gives it a little dimension. You could even just cut a couple more circles if you don't want to use foam tape. That would work. If you have a lot of scrap paper, that's a great way to use that up. And let's pull this down, get it on here, and then I'm going to do one more thing. I have these acrylic shapes, and again, this is a great project for using up some of this cute stuff that we end up with in our stash. And it kind of gets forgotten, but it's fun to pull things out and give them a new life. So I'm just digging in here. These are all different kinds of hearts. Let's see if we can find something. I know what I'm looking for. Just a little solid one. So I've got one that's a little open and a couple that are solid. And these are just those little plastic cases. We have a big, they're meant for photos, but I'm using them for my fun little extra doodads. And I'm gluing these on. You could glue them. You could also use those little glue dots. Boy, words are hard, huh? But for me, the glue is fast and easy. And just put it on there, just like that. That's all there is to it. Super simple. I better put my pan in so my glue doesn't dry out. And that's it. A fun way to package up. I've got that one. And then I do have another example here. This one. And again, just using up old pieces of paper from my stash. And you can even do the little itty bitty Ghirardelli squares. So cute, so fun. I hope you'll give this a try. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a blessed, crafty day, and I'll see you next time.